Courtrooms ran on ritual, crisp language, and a record that never forgot. But in the age of hot mics and Zoom hearings, one careless second could turn a career into a clip. These are 10 lawyers who went completely off script in front of a judge. Subscribe for more true stories where one moment rewrote the whole narrative. Number 10. Marshall Tauber. A routine bond fight turned into a career-defining meltdown on June 5, 2024, when a Zoom hearing in Oakland County, Michigan, ended with the lawyer apparently thinking the connection had dropped. The judge, Yasmin Poles, had just ruled on bond for Tauber's client, and the mic stayed live long enough for the court to hear a vulgar, gender-based slur aimed at the bench. The fallout was fast and expensive. Tauber was held in criminal contempt and fined $7,500, a punishment later affirmed by the Michigan Court of Appeals in an unpublished per curiam opinion dated September 30, 2025. The court's key point was brutally modern. Zoom still counted as the court's immediate presence when the judge heard it and the record captured it. Number 9. William Hutchins. The details sounded like something out of a late-night courtroom show, except it happened in real life in Nelson County, Kentucky. In late September 2012, Judge John C. stopped a domestic violence hearing after noticing attorney behavior that looked off, then called a recess and took the matter into chambers. The hearing clocked a clean before and after, recess at 9:50 in the morning, back at 10:23. Hutchins never returned to the table. On the record, Judge Say said the attorney tested positive for alcohol to a very high degree and was sent to jail for contempt until he hit triple zeros. Reporting also noted he spent less than 24 hours in custody, and he was later removed as Master Commissioner for the Nelson Circuit Court by an order from Judge Charles Sims III, dated September 28, 2012. Number 8. John W. Higgins. One wrong courtroom, one visible stumble, and one number that told the whole story. On July 31, 2013, a New Mexico lawyer walked into Metro Court Chief Judge Julie Altwies's courtroom when his matters were scheduled elsewhere, and the disruption escalated into direct contempt. Authorities said his blood alcohol level was 0.11, above the state's presumed intoxication threshold of 0.08. The reporting added an age detail that made the moment feel even more tragic than comic. Higgins was 69 years old when it happened. In August 2013, the Albuquerque Journal and the Associated Press reported the judge sentenced him to 30 days, suspending 29, and placed him on intensive supervised probation with random testing. A courtroom is a place where every movement gets interpreted, and that day, the interpretation came with cuffs. Number 7. Jeffrey Sanford. The line between passionate advocacy and contempt could be one loud sentence. In Baton Rouge in late September 2015, attorney Jeffrey Sanford was taken into custody after a courtroom outburst in a case he said involved concerns about the jury. Reporting identified the judge as Bo Higginbotham of the 19th Judicial District Court and described Sanford being held in contempt and booked, an escalation local officials reportedly described as rare. What pushed the moment into listicle legend was what happened after the doors closed. Sanford gave a TV interview after his release, framing the arrest as doing his job and saying, "Jesus went to jail and I've always wanted to go to jail with a client," then describing how he had asked to ride in the same car as his client to jail. Courtrooms run on decorum, and when decorum collapses, the story often keeps going on the evening news. Number 6. Timothy Berry. Sentencing hearings were supposed to be the moment the noise stopped and consequences settled in. In Albany, New York in early April 2025, a manslaughter sentencing for Daquan Arrington spun into chaos when public defender Timothy Berry launched into a political tirade in front of Justice Thomas Marcel, in a hearing that ended with Berry being physically removed and the sentencing postponed. About 2 weeks later, on April 22, 2025, Berry appeared again, and the legal system did what it often demanded, a formal apology on the record. WNYT reported that Marcel had held Berry in criminal contempt briefly, then lifted the sanction after purgation, with Berry acknowledging he should have stopped when the judge ordered him to. WNYT also reported the contempt remained on his record and included a monetary penalty, with the bigger message being that the bench never forgets the moment the room went sideways. Engagement break. Before we continue, which courtroom era felt wilder? The live TV tabloid days or the Zoom hearing years? Did you ever watch a remote court clip and realize the microphone never truly turned off? Drop a comment and let us know where you are watching from. Number 5. Brian Steele. Before the trial drama, Brian Steele was best known as a hard-charging Atlanta defense attorney. Then June 10, 2024 happened in the Young Thug racketeering trial in Fulton County, Georgia, and the courtroom became a pressure cooker. Steele told Judge Ural Glanville he had learned about an ex parte meeting involving a witness and prosecutors, moved for a mistrial, then refused to reveal his source when the judge demanded it. The contempt order was unusually specific: 20 days in jail, served as every weekend for 10 weekends, with reporting times spelled out, starting June 14, 2024 and running through August 18, 2024. Then the story took a rare appellate turn. On October 22, 2024, the Supreme Court of Georgia reversed, holding due process required recusal because the judge was too wrapped into the controversy underlying the contempt. Steele did not just go off script, he challenged who got to hold the pen. Number 4, Stephen Schwartz and Peter LaDuca. A 30-plus page federal sanctions opinion replaced the usual courtroom fireworks with something colder: the written record. In Mata versus Avianca, the lawyers filed a brief packed with case citations that looked legitimate until the court could not find them because several did not exist. Judge P. Kevin Castell's findings described how the problem traced back to using ChatGPT for legal research, then trusting it like a super search engine. The stunning part was not only the initial mistake, it was the doubling down. The sanctions order described fake citations, fake quotes, and the submission of materials that did not hold up under basic verification. The penalty landed as a $5,000 payment into the court registry, imposed jointly and severally on the lawyers and their firm, framed as deterrence, not compensation. For an audience raised on paper files and library stacks, this was a new kind of off-script moment, not shouted, but filed. Number 3. James Hios. One obscene gesture, one denial, and one punishment that got put in writing. During a remote oral argument on May 11, 2021, a Michigan lawyer raised his middle finger toward the camera while opposing counsel was speaking. When the appellate panel asked about it, the lawyer denied it, even though the order said the videotaped record plainly showed what happened. The Michigan Court of Appeals sanctioned him $3,000 in an order dated May 20, 2021, and referred him to the Attorney Grievance Commission. The order even quoted the lawyer's oath conceptually: respect for courts, no offensive personality, and duty of candor. In the old days, a bad moment might vanish when everyone left the building. On a remote feed, the building followed you home. Number 2. Dennis Bailey. Zoom courtroom dress code moments. April 2020 was the month courtrooms started living inside laptops. In Broward County, Florida, Circuit Judge Dennis Bailey had to put something on paper that felt unbelievable. Attorneys were showing up to Zoom court like it was a couch, not a courthouse. The letter became famous because the examples were so blunt they barely needed commentary. According to reporting, Bailey wrote that one male lawyer appeared shirtless and one female attorney appeared still in bed, still under the covers. He did not just complain, he reminded the bar that a hearing stayed a hearing, even when the robe and seal were on a screen. For viewers who grew up on crisp suits in black and white TV courtrooms, this was the modern twist, the same old authority fighting brand new sloppiness. Number 1. Rod Ponton. The COVID-19 era created a new kind of courtroom legend, the kind that ended with laughter instead of handcuffs. On February 9, 2021, a civil forfeiture hearing in Texas's 394th Judicial District Court turned viral when a cat filter took over the lawyer's face on Zoom. The voice stayed human, the image did not. The Associated Press reported the attorney was Rod Ponton, 69 years old, appearing before Judge Roy Ferguson when he delivered the line that became instant Americana: "I'm here live, I'm not a cat." Ferguson calmly pointed out a filter in the video settings, and the hearing kept moving. Long after the memes faded, the clip stuck because it captured something oddly comforting. Even in a strange new world, the court kept its composure, and the record kept rolling.